This is the universe, home to the most powerful spectacles in existence. And I'm about to build it in Minecraft. I mean everything from the smallest planet to the entire universe itself.
But first we're going to start with our home, Earth. And the only way to truly appreciate the beauty of our planet is by jumping out of an airplane.
Oh my god! I just jumped out of an airplane. Turns out I saw a lot up there, but not nearly enough to build the entire planet, so I had to turn to my trusty friend, the globe. Little did I know how useful this thing would actually be. I could measure the exact location of every continent to perfectly replicate the planet. I can't believe that actually worked. But the continents were nothing compared to recreating the exact colors of every jungle, desert, and ocean on our planet. This ended up taking me 3 days. Spacelight is extremely intense. On one side of the planet, you have just blinding lights, and on the other side, an eternal void of darkness. And because normal Minecraft doesn't have space light, I made my own. Apparently you can paint with light in Minecraft. Oh, no way. This is sick. But at the time I had no idea that this small detail was literally gonna be the reason that everything you see in this video was possible. What's crazy is that this is just the beginning and it's already massive. To put it into context, I had built one planet out of 100 billion in the Milky Way alone. Not to mention the entire universe, which contains roughly this many planets. I don't even know what that number is. Well, onto the solar system. It turned out I was gonna have to make the Earth and all the other tiny planets nearly 700,000 times smaller if everything was going to fit. So small that a single Minecraft block would take over 5 days to walk across. This is where things get complicated because every other planet was tilted, meaning I had to paint and build every ring of color at an angle. This became a real problem when I got to Saturn, okay? It took me an entire day just to space out and tilt all of its rings. I even had to relearn the Pythagorean theorem just to measure their distance. This is c squared. The c would then... It is so satisfying to look at this and know that it is Minecraft. This planet is massive. After Saturn, I moved on to building the last gas giants, which turns out also have rings. But now it was time for a massive energy that was 1,000 times larger than the biggest planet I had built so far. So large that you could fit Earth in a single block. The sun.
Oh god, my eyes.
What's terrifying is that in terms of raw power, the sun is nothing compared to what's coming up. My goal for the sun? Well, I wanted it to look like hot, radioactive death. Not only did I use the brightest blocks in Minecraft, but I also added massive solar flares coming off of it to make the entire thing feel alive with fire. This barely even looks like Minecraft. Oh my god. Oh, there's a mod that lets me load 1,000 chunks at once. Oh my god. I'm loading 1,000 chunks right now. That's so cool. But I wasn't just trying to build the solar system. I wanted more. I wanted the entirety of existence itself to be within my grasp. The whole universe a world away. So far we have built 1 out of 200 billion trillion star systems. We have to go bigger. But how was I going to build a nebula, black hole, galaxy, anything if I could barely load in our solar system? I had a genius plan. Obviously I couldn't actually fit the entire universe in Minecraft, but I could do the next best thing. See, every time I made a build, the actual scale was going to stay almost exactly the same, while the size of the object in the universe was going to get exponentially larger in light years. Well, that was the plan at least. Starting with one of the most famous space photos ever. The Pillars of Creation. That's intense, man. Despite the name, I had no idea how hard this would actually be. I wasn't just building planets anymore. I was building galactic entities more powerful than anything you could possibly imagine, and I wanted to show it. I used the same measuring idea from the Earth to make everything exact. After the outline, I built what would soon be the massive clouds of space gas that would form the pillars. Oh wow, I just realized how big this thing actually is. I thought you could like stand right next to it and still be seen, but no. This thing is, hold on. 1,175 times larger than the solar system that we just made. And this thing was made of almost every block in the game. And I have to build all of this. Not to mention the lighting, the stars, the magical glowing background. It took 2 straight days of painting just to get the colors right before I could move on to the stars. Which, by the way, weren't normal stars. Okay, you see that? How do I build that? Not only did I build the literal shine of the stars, but I also painted the entire thing with the exact lighting shown in the image. And with the glowing blue haze added in the background, it was done. I wonder if I can trick someone into thinking this is real. I'm gonna send you the photo that I went off of, and then I'm gonna send you my build.
Okay.
This is the first photo. Okay.
Wait, is that yours? Oh my god. Dude, did you make that or is that the picture? I saw the image pop up and was like, oh, okay, so that's the image. And I was like, wait.
But this was just the beginning when it came to the builds becoming almost identical to real life, because it was time for the most powerful object in the universe. Something heavier than billions of stars that light can't even escape. A supermassive black hole. Okay, you know that giant black hole from the movie Interstellar? Yeah, we're gonna build that one. But I had no idea that this would end up being the hardest thing I have ever built in my 9 years of playing this game. Okay, I haven't even started and I'm already lost? What is this? I don't even know how to describe it. I just spent 5 hours figuring out how to make this on paper and my brain physically hurts. Let me explain. If we try to imagine the black hole, the accretion disk would technically, but this isn't accounting for the supermassive. I was basically trying to build an object that bends light itself. It's not like you can just move around a black hole and see the other side of its glowing disk. No, the whole thing is just gonna warp, meaning I was building something that should literally be impossible. And yes, I'm still up here. I started on the glowing disc that bent around the black hole, and I immediately began to realize how complex this was actually gonna be. Okay, here's the problem. There's not one disc, there's 3. And each disc has to perfectly bend into the other to create the illusion of a black hole. To start, I somehow had to make these 2 discs that were completely different sizes curve into each other in a game that is made of cubes. Oh my god, what am I doing with my life? I've been sitting in this tiny, sweaty room for 8 hours trying to build the curve on a black hole. I was trying and failing over and over again until, oh my god, I think I just figured it out. Basically, I can use hundreds of lines as a guide for a perfect slope. Oh my god, yes. I just finished all of the discs. Remember how I said being able to paint with light would be crucial? I was going to have to make this black hole the brightest build in this entire video. Brighter than billions of suns. There can be no mistake in this entire thing. Every line, every color has to bend perfectly, or the entire illusion of this build is gonna fall apart. After painting the hot white center ring, I slowly faded the colors into darkness, adding wisps of gas made of various blocks. This is so much better than what I imagined. This is the most satisfying build I think I've ever made. It was time to move to an even more unimaginable cosmic scale. Something that shines with billions of stars, galaxies. And not just one, but an entire cluster of them. But first, I had to see them for myself. And the only way to do that would be to hike thousands of feet in elevation to the very top of the highest peak. And this was my guide, Ian.
You're the first person I've seen in 2 weeks. You have to get all the way up there. This is making me realize how out of shape I am. Oh my god. Oh, this is so high.
But as soon as the sun set, it was time to break out the instrument. And not gonna lie, all I saw through that thing was a blurry moon. And it still doesn't work. But it didn't matter. We were surrounded by the cosmos. Millions of stars right before our eyes. But then I remembered my goal. I wanted all of it. Every star within my grasp. The entire universe a click away. I had to figure out how I was going to build not one, but an entire cluster of galaxies. It took me hours just to match the swirl of a single one. Okay, so here's the game plan. I'm going to start at the center with the darkest colors and work my way out and just see what happens. Eventually, I had a cobweb of dark spinning gas around the center. I used this as a sort of skeleton to build out the galaxy's brightest arms, which would eventually carry its stars. But there was a problem. This doesn't look real at all, and I have no clue how to change it. Think. Basically, if this light trick doesn't work, the entire build is trashed. It didn't just work, it brought them to life. Out of nowhere, I had an almost perfectly realistic galaxy shining in the void. I added all the different stars shining on the brightest spots, and oh my god, yes! And this is just the first one. And it was only downhill from there. I moved on to the next, perfecting the process, adding different shades and variations. I built galaxy after galaxy, scattering them through my new cosmos until the darkness was filled with the light of over 1 trillion stars swirling through space. I had created nearly every structure that formed the very fabric of existence itself.
If you are not already subscribed, what are you doing? The videos are only gonna get more insane from here and you do not want to miss out.
And before we build the entire universe, let's take a step back. It's time to see if my builds truly can rival the raw and humbling power of our universe. I have no idea how I'm gonna make this possible. We essentially need to build a giant glowing bubble. When you zoom this far out, the universe just looks like a giant cobweb of connections. The galaxies that we just made wouldn't fit on a single pixel of a block. Little did I know this network of superclusters would take me over a week to build. I started with the brightest that would shine through the universe and worked my way out, slowly creating every galactic intersection in our universe. But of course, there was a problem. It looked nothing like the real universe. Instead, it looked like some giant ball of tangled yarn. What's scary is I feel like there's only one way to do this, and it's not working. I would either end up with the perfect universe shining before my eyes, or a tangle of threads that took me over 50 hours to build. And there was only one option. I finished off the connections before I moved on to the first phases of bringing our universe to light. And this is where things took a turn. I rounded off the edges, creating a perfect sphere glowing in the night. It feels like this just might actually work. With the lighting finished, it was time for the final and most crucial detail: stars. Even though it would literally be impossible to make out a single star from this distance, I still did it, sprinkling stars throughout our cosmos. And that was it. After over a month of work, the entire universe was right before my eyes.
Subscribe.